up? We're here, we're live, we are kicking off 2021 with you, and we're getting you set for week 17. Big guests on today's show. We've got David Montgomery, big matchup, the Chicago Bears hosting the Green Bay Packers. So many ins and outs, but more importantly, Happy New Year, everyone watching. GMFB brought to you by Intuit QuickBooks, Kyle Brandt, Peter Schrager, Nate Burleson. Guys, it's 2021.
It's 2021.
2021. We made it.
And we just looked it up. This is according to the Chinese horoscope, this is the year of the ox. Peter, what was 2020? Do you remember?
Yes.
The year of the rat, and I'm happy to put it behind me.
Yeah. Let's go ox.
The year of the rat? Well, we should have known, of course. Okay, high expectations for 2021, high expectations for Week 17. Let's bring in Ian Rappaport and talk about that Bears game. It's an NFC North battle that has lots of ins and outs. Packers trying to clinch the #1 seed. The Bears trying to get into the playoffs and secure a spot. The offense for Green Bay took a big hit, though, yesterday. Ian, Happy New Year. What's the latest?
Happy New Year. 2020 sent us out the way it really has been treating us the entire year, especially for Packers fans, the Packers organization. David Bakhtiari, the all-pro, multi-year Pro Bowl left tackle, the highest paid left tackle in football and one of the best players on the Packers, regardless of position, suffered a season-ending knee injury in practice. From my understanding, really just doing a regular drill. He went down with an injury that at the time sounded like it looked pretty serious, and the fear is that it is a torn ACL, which would, of course, knock Bakhtiari out for the end of the regular season through the playoffs and make a tight timetable for him to be ready for 2021. This is a player who signed a 4-year, $105.5 million contract extension, the blindside protector for Aaron Rodgers. You cannot overstate how important David Bakhtiari is for this offensive line and for this Packers offense in general. They do have some options to replace him: Billy Turner, Elgton Jenkins, Rick Wagner. No one will replace Bakhtiari just the way he is on the field, the overall talent level and the leadership. This is a difficult blow for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and the connection he has to his quarterback. They've been, exchanging like funny, pew-pews at each other all year long, but it just speaks to the closeness of them. I know Aaron Rodgers holds him in such high regard. The entire team does, really the NFL does. And it's going to be tough if they end up having a matchup up against the Saints if it shakes out. I mean, that pass rush with New Orleans is going to be tough without a guy like Bakhtiari. Thanks so much, Ian Rappaport. Let's take a look at the clinching scenarios. This game is huge for both sides. Nothing is secure. Huge stakes. They get the bye, the Packers do, and home field advantage throughout with a win or a Seahawks loss. The Bears get a wild card spot with a win on Sunday, or if the Cardinals lose to the Rams. Now, it's understandable some of the Bears players may want to watch the scoreboard a little bit. We get it. Matt Nagy was asked yesterday if they will take down the score of the other Week 17 games at Soldier Field. Take a listen.
Yeah, I think that's probably the direction that we'll go as well. We got to worry about us, and we got to make sure that that we do everything we can to win this game. So we'll discuss that, go through all that. But if I had to lean one way or the other, I'm sure that most of us would want it that way. And I think that that's the right thing to do.
They've got to worry about them. We've got to worry about everybody right here on Good Morning Football. For this game, Packers-Bears, Kyle, what are you going to be focused on?
Well, first and foremost, the David Bakhtiari injury is infuriating and devastating, and I'm so upset about it right at this juncture of the season, especially. If you look at all of the teams going to the playoffs, take away the quarterbacks. Outside of the quarterbacks, there's a small handful of guys that are more integral, better players to their team than David Bakhtiari, and it's guys like Kelsey and Kamara. Like, it is that big of a loss. Just terrible injury luck. And on that note, I'm looking this weekend at Khalil Mack. I'm looking at Mack versus Bakhtiari because you know what? Number 69 for the Packers is awesome against Mack. What you're going to notice about this, notice how it's just him over there. There's no guard, there's no tight end, there's no chip block from the running back. It is Bakhtiari one-on-one with Khalil Mack, which is an almost unheard of thing in this league. You don't see it. This is back to that same Week 1 2019 game we keep going. And Bakhtiari mastered him. He had an incredible run game, passing game. Mack has not had a sack of Aaron Rodgers the last 3 times against him, and now he's out. Listen, the Bakhtiari injury is about this weekend. It is about the Saints, like Kay mentioned. Let's not forget what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pass rush did to Rodgers with Bakhtiari. It is a massive injury, but for this weekend, with all the implications in Bears-Packers, watch 52 for the Bears, because if he is going up against some well-intended, good-spirited backup, they better bring 2 or 3 guys over there, because Bakhtiari gone. Huge injury as soon as this weekend. Mac might have a game.
Yeah, Kyle, Ian said it, you said it. You can't overstate enough how important this player is. And here's the deal. When he was out earlier this season, they did go 2-1, and Billy Turner, who's not a left tackle, played left tackle and did really well. And Rick Wagner stepped in, and then John Runyon's son came in and played at guard, and he was solid. So they do have some experience without Bakhtiari, but let's look now long term here. Say that Khalil Mack does go nuts. Say that the Bears do beat the Packers, and then Seattle takes care of business against San Francisco, which you would expect them to do. The Seahawks could be the #1 seed, and now Rodgers, the second round of the playoffs, has to travel to some, or I'm sorry, the third round place has to travel to some place, whether it be Seattle or elsewhere, and it's suddenly a whole different deal. Packers need this game. And I know we're going to talk Bears, and we've talked Bears a lot this week. Packers need this game. When I was watching that game Sunday night against the Titans in the snow, and A.J. Dillon running so hard, and suddenly Aaron Jones, this is what the Packers want in January. Home field, big game, covered in snow, beat us in this building. Fans are not. The weather matters. The style of play matters. Packers just lost to what Kyle said, and I agree. Outside of Rodgers, maybe their most valuable player in Bakhtiari. I still think their most valuable asset is Lambeau. And I know that Kaepernick went in there and won a game a couple of years ago in the playoffs, and Eli's done it a couple times in the playoffs, and Michael Vick's done it in the playoffs. Don't get the mystique of Lambeau wrong, and especially if it's a Drew Brees, who is so good at home himself, or Russell Wilson, who's so good in Seattle. It's a different deal traveling to Lambeau. I don't think the Packers can take the foot off the pedal. I think they need this game, and I think for that team, after suffering this injury news, there is nothing they would like more than a bye next week to regroup, reset, and realize that the playoff comes through Lambeau Field. Because guess what? It might not just be Brees or Russell Wilson. It might be Tom Brady also. Home field is huge. Packers, they need this one as much as the Bears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you on that, Shregs. I hear you, KB. The Packers do need this. You know who else needs it? The Bears need this. And more specifically, Mitchell Trubisky needs this. I said last week that Mitchell Trubisky has bought himself more time like a kid at the arcade with a pocket full of quarters. Well, you know what? You better hit all the buttons. Just mash it. Hit every move on the move list, because this is your life. You are going to be able to recreate the narrative of what we thought about you. You know, over the last few games, we all of a sudden have thought to ourselves, okay, maybe Mitchell Trubisky isn't going anywhere. He's playing so well that why would they hit the reset button somewhere else? And if they're going to look at a quarterback next season, why not bring back Mitchell, who knows the system better than anybody? But what if he doesn't play well? You know what? There's going to be a ton of people saying, see, I told you. No. You watched the game, right? That's the Mitchell Trubisky we all know. Like that's the guy I don't want to be our quarterback. Don't let that happen. Mitchell Trubisky, go ahead and have yourself a day. You have been balling out. So if you step up and have a great game in a moment that matters, you can quiet all of the questions, whether you're going to be the quarterback next season, whether you're capable of being a franchise face, whether you can win a clutch game. So my eyes are going to be on Mitchell Trubisky, because right now, I don't believe there's a quarterback in the league that needs this Week 17 game more than he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, really quickly, Kyle, I would love to hear your thoughts as a lifelong Bears fan who's been through these. And Kay, you can chime in as well as a Chicago resident. Kyle, a loss this weekend for the Bears, just how crushing is that for the Bears fan base?
Well, you know what comes to mind, Peter, is Matt Nagy is so positive all the time. He's unrelentlessly positive. Try to spin as Matt Nagy that you lose this weekend. Let's say you lose 31-13, and you still get in the playoffs because the Cardinals lose. Now you're going to go into the playoffs. You're going to back in after getting your butts kicked by your arch rival on your home field at 8-8, so you can play the Saints, who you've also struggled against. Try to sell that to the locker room. That is a tough sell. They got to win. They got to win this game. And I agree with you. Mitch Trubisky has started a playoff game, a home playoff game. I think this is a bigger game than that because of the opponent and because of the stakes. That one against the Eagles and Nick Foles with the double doink, sure. I think this is the biggest Bears game in 3 years and the biggest game of Mitch Trubisky's life.
I've been really frustrated.